Hello, apparently NPM was hit by a supply chain attack. We can read here on X, critical active supply chain attack on Axios, one of NPM's most dependent on packages. The latest Axios 1.14.1 now puts in plain 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹 4.2.1, a package that did not exist before today. This is a live compromise. This is textbook supply chain installer malware. Axios has 100 plus million weekly downloads. Every NPM install pulling the latest version is potentially compromised right now. Socket AI analysis confirms this is malware. Plain 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹 is an obfuscated dropper/loader that, and then we can see here what it does. It deobfuscates embedded payloads and operational strings at runtime, dynamically loads FS, OS, and exec async to evade static analysis, executes decoded shell commands, stages and copies payload files into OS temp and Windows program data directories, deletes and renames artifacts post-execution to destroy forensic evidence. If you use Axios, pin your version immediately and audit your log files. Do not upgrade. Yeah, this sounds very serious, and yeah, it's a developing story, at least when I'm reading it now. Yeah, and then I found another version that is also affected by this malware, and then we can scroll down. Update in case you missed it earlier. This is bigger than initially reported. So both Axios 1.14.1 and Axios 1.30.4 were compromised. The attacker poisoned the 1.x and 0.x branches within 39 minutes of each other, maximizing blast radius across projects using caret ranges. Yeah, so this is if you add an NPM package, like the version number, you can say that you want a 1.14. anything, and then you will automatically get the latest. So if it's one, so .1 or .2, you will take the latest here. And yeah, the same would be here with this version number, the last number here. So yeah, that's a bit dangerous with this caret range that it mentions. But yeah, in normal case, you want to have the latest, I suppose, the latest point releases, like that's bug fixes. And yeah, or you're supposed to monitor and manage all NPM packages. Like the whole dependency tree is huge with NPM and Node applications. So I don't know what they expect you to do, really. You cannot audit all of them, really. And even if you were to audit the packages, they are updated so frequently, so it's impossible to keep up to date and know really what you're depending on. And here it says root cause: the lead maintainer's NPM account was hijacked, email changed to an anonymous Proton mail. Both versions were published manually via NPM CLI, bypassing the project's normal GitHub Actions OEDC trust the publisher pipeline. No corresponding GitHub commits or tags exist. He is trying to sell his own software here, but yeah, they detected this malware. And here it says a little bit about the malware. So the payload is a cross-platform rat. So on Mac OS, it's binary disguised under Apple cache naming conventions. On Windows, it's a hidden PowerShell script with execution policy bypass. And on Linux, Python rat dropped to /tmp, so the temporary directory. The dropper self-destructs post-execution. Inspecting node modules after the fact reveals nothing. Check your log files, not your disk. Yeah, I don't know about this with log files, since if it's malware, couldn't it tamper with the log file as well? So I don't know if you really can say anything from reading the log file, but yeah, maybe they have left a trace that it was updated to that malicious version. And here he also adds, we also found 2 additional packages with the same payloads. Some 𝗘𝗺𝗡𝗟/OpenClaw, malware hidden in vendor path, and QQ-browser/OpenClaw-QBot ships pre-populated node modules with the compromised Axios baked in. Wow, so convenient. You get some malware baked in, so you don't have to download it yourself. Same C2, same payloads. I don't know about C2, but brings the total number of affected packages to 4. Yeah, with OpenClaw being the latest, hottest cake that everybody wants, I guess you need to be a bit cautious what you download. NPM has removed the malicious versions. If you install either before takedown, assume compromise, rotate credentials. Full technical analysis from our team. And here was a quite good post that summarized it. So new supply chain attack, this time for NPM Axios. the most popular HTTP client library with 300 million weekly downloads. Scanning my system, I found a use imported from Google Workspace/CLI from a few days ago when I was experimenting with Gmail/𝗘𝗺𝗓𝗟. The installed version luckily resolved to an unaffected 1.13.5, but the project dependency is not pinned, meaning that if I did this earlier today, the code would have resolved to the latest and I would be pwned. Yeah, so that's the problem. So if you just take the latest and greatest version, then it might be something that has been affected by malware that was just recently pushed and that nobody has had time to audit yet if you just take the latest. He then says it's possible to personally defend against these to some extent with local settings. For example, release age constraints or containers or etc. But I think ultimately the defaults of package management projects like pip, npm, etc. have to change so that a single infection, usually luckily fairly temporary in nature due to security scanning, does not spread through users at random and at a scale via unpinned dependencies. Yeah, it seems to be a very a big Achilles heel with this problem. Maybe the solution is to go back to the traditional Linux package managers. Many people, they don't like to use the Linux package manager for developing their own applications since maybe you are using pip and maybe you're building a Python application, but if you use the libraries from Ubuntu's repository, then they are lagging behind and you need to often wait to the next half year when they release a new version, and then maybe you get new libraries and you're always lagging behind. But on the other hand, when it's a repository like that from Fedora, Ubuntu or Arch or something, and then it's audited by somebody at least. So it's not just that the developer themselves push things out to users. And there is at least some package maintainers who do some sort of verification and then approves, and then it gets released out to people. So maybe that's what we should go back to some extent. You will not be able to pull in the latest and greatest immediately when it is released, but maybe for some applications, maybe that's a good thing to be lagging behind a bit. That's like what he said here with release age constraints. Then, maybe the package needs to be a certain number of days owned or something before you're allowed to download it. If you would have this with release age constraint, then you wouldn't immediately download an affected library, like he said here. So he was just lucky that he downloaded some program a week ago and not today, because had he done it today, he would have gotten a later version automatically, since it was not pinned. So it's a bit of a problem. It's quite scary. It seems like these supply chain attacks are just getting more and more common. Recently, we saw with 𝗦𝗶𝗴 that was affected, and then developers were affected by that, who updated the 𝗦𝗶𝗴++. And now we see here people who are updating or installing Node modules that depend on Axios, or they installed Axios themselves. Then they could have gotten malware on their computer. So it seems like developers are a bit targeted nowadays. It seems like it's getting more and more common with these supply chain attacks. So I hope people are a bit more cautious and that we will develop a better ecosystem with better verification, and that malware does not slip in with 300 million weekly downloads. Even if it's just up for a few minutes, I suppose this was up for longer. But it can affect a lot of people during just such a short amount of time if such a highly used package is affected. Yeah, scary stuff, but see each other another time. Bye bye.